I just would like to be really happy again. I was pretty close to home when it happened. That's the last I remember. I really don't remember anything except a big bang.
Nobody in our family had any ill feelings about the boy. Everybody just said it's a tragedy.
I remember the young man that hit me saying he was sorry. And I remember saying, I'm not mad at you.
The hardest part for me was seeing her in the state she was, going from the most healthy 83-year-old woman I have ever known to laying there with so many broken bones and problems, lacerations, and so forth. Just watching somebody you love have their life taken away from them. These were the golden years for her, and you know, she was getting to travel, she was coming to visit me, going to visit my brother, and was just really enjoying life. And it was hard to see that taken away from her.
Well, at the point she didn't know that she was not going to return home to her house. She was still hoping this is just a recovery phase and she's going to go back home at one point. We had to do all kinds of remodeling. She can't go downstairs, she can't do steps at all, so we were trying to accommodate everything so she can be with us as much as she wants to.
Somebody has to be here with her always.
She doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. She doesn't want to be a charity case. That was the toughest, most psychological part of the whole thing.
Giving up your car keys is terrible because it's your independence.
So they had $3.5 million worth of insurance. Great insurance coverage for themselves and their business. Ample to take care of almost any problem that you could imagine. And they paid those premiums, I would assume, for a lot of years until this occurred. Family makes all the difference in the world. Quite honestly, with Kay's struggle for independence, where she put in the nursing home, I don't know that she would have survived this long after the accident.
I didn't believe she'd ever walk again. I couldn't see how. And although she walks, she's a fall risk.
I guess I thought I was going to go back to my life the way it was.
This case has the same kind of actions on the part of the insurance company that we see in many cases, and that is delay, delay, delay. And one of the reasons the insurance company delays is because it can make more money on its money by keeping it and using it than it can if it pays out a large sum of money for a seriously injured person. Another potential benefit to the insurance company would come about if something should happen and Kay should pass away and they wouldn't have to pay so much money.
People are telling you that We're going to go to trial in a community in central Missouri who, they just don't give out awards that are worth very much. They just don't see life that way. So why don't you just take our settlement now? I have to believe there are people that would be intimidated and have to take some paltry amount, which would never help give this person the quality of life or really what's fair.
The insurance company that insures each of those defendants hires the lawyers and pays the lawyers. Legally, they're supposed to represent the interest of the insured, but they also are recognized as representing the interest of the insurer. So they have an inherent conflict of interest because they do represent the interests of both. I think it's meant to incentivize somebody Kay's age, for instance, to settle, and to settle for an amount less than they're entitled to, because they have to worry, if this is tied up on appeal for years, am I going to ever live through to see the end of it?
The surprise was we assumed we were going to get there in the morning of the trial that they'd want to make a settlement offer and we wouldn't put this 85-year-old woman through a trial. They were there just for their economic purpose. What can we do? How do we get out of this? The things that were said at the trial, sitting it through 4 days of a trial, listening to why they shouldn't have to pay anything, why it's not really their fault. And, oh, the Shea family's already taken care of her, talking to the jury.
And that's true in most states, that there can't be any mention of the fact that they're insured. And some defense lawyers take full advantage of that by presenting their clients as poor, and that any judgment against them or verdict against them is going to completely wreck their lives.
I watched this family during these arguments, pure anxiety for them. They weren't fighting for this family, the ones that paid all this insurance. They were only fighting to not have to pay anything they didn't have to pay.
Pat, did you bring those x-rays in? One of my legs. That's this leg. And there's another one, the other leg. I'm the Iron Lady.
The only way things like this change is if enough people hear about it and say, really, is that how it works? And, and somehow that gets taken up by someone, in a legislature in some state. The federal level is very tough to get to, but maybe it starts in one state where a lawmaker sees something like this, reads a similar article, has a similar situation in their family, and they think, hey, this isn't right. But is it easy? No, it's really an uphill battle.
I've got some strong family behind me. And I've always been determined to make it. But I'm not determined that I want to live. But then I'm afraid I might die if I don't. So it's just hard to explain. There are serious accidents. I hope it doesn't happen to anyone else, and I know it will. You pay an awful lot. Premiums never stop. They keep going on. People don't realize they're not that protected until something like this happens.